Nadia, please.
Hello, everybody. So we welcome you to our today's online fundraising panel discussion. And our today's topic is devoted to the new era of tokenization. My name is Nadia Nesterova. I'm independent director of the board of the National Alternative Investment Management Association and an independent advisor to a number of leading GPs in VC strategies, private equity, real estate, and hedge funds. And my co-moderator for today is Yuting Reng, moderator of the panel today and Latoken official representative in New York. And we have our honorable speakers today. The first one is Huining Chao, Vice President of Chang Hong Kong Graduate School of Business Americas, Karl Roller, co-founder of Mobi AI, Phil Paul, co-chairman of the World Film Institute and chairman of the Olympia Future City of Lights. And I will start with the first round of questions to each of you. And I will give a word to Karl. So what would be the new on the internet to revolutionize in the current environment? So would you share some of your observations? You're muted. Could you unmute yourself?
Yeah, let's see here. Let me.
Karl, we hear you.
Okay, good. All right. Well, as you know, we see the internet today as a little bit different as it was originally intended. When Dr. Kleinrock and a group of engineers got together to initially build the internet, they had high hopes for exciting things, but they really had no idea, as most engineers when they build things, where it would go. The social side of it was a complete surprise to them. They had no idea what would take place, and where we are today is a complete shock to them. And so when we look at it today, we know that a lot of the information that's available today, we don't know if we can trust. The internet, as far as they're concerned, is acting like a spoiled child. So Dr. Kleinrock really wanted to build a new internet. He wanted to fix some of the mistakes that he felt he just didn't think about initially. And so we, as a group, began to look at what was available today in this new technology of tokenization, and with what was available with for us with this kind of technology, with blockchain and what you could do with that. And we got together with Dr. Kleinrock and we put our heads together, and instead of building a new internet, you could actually put a layer on top of the existing internet and create a way of cleaning up, if you will, what is out there, and making a reputation system that could clean up and make what's out there better. And so that's really what we've been doing. Now, that is a heavy lift. That is not, it's easier said than done, obviously. There's a lot to that. And so we've been putting together a team. Actually, through Dr. Kleinrock from UCLA, who's considered by many to be the father of the internet. He brought a lot of the old guys together and put the team together engineering-wise so that we could put a system together to accomplish that goal. Along with that, we brought a lot of the best people together from a standpoint of blockchain as well. And you can read about a lot of that. I don't want to get into, we don't have time to get into all of that today, but we tried to put the best team that we could together to build the best token and to build the best system that would accomplish the goal of creating a new internet, really, but a layer on top of the internet in order to create a reputation system where you could trust the information, because today you hear something and you just don't know if it's real. And how do you find out? Half the time today is, we watch the news and we see something and we just don't know if it's real. We find, we meet somebody and then we hear what they say, but we don't know if they're real. And we'll find we really get the information about whether somebody's real or not by talking to their friends and calling people and finding out what is it that, who are they, going through referrals to find out what is really the truth. Now, in many cases, truth is subjective, right? But and therein lies the trick to getting to the nut of fine tuning this, and that's why AI becomes so important, and that's why we put together other people that have experience with AI in order to fine tune that. And that takes time as well, because the bigger and the more successful the team is, and the group and the association, then the better the ability to fine tune the reputation of each individual. And the other thing that we're doing with this is of course, we realize that one of the biggest income sources today on the internet is all of our information, the data mining that's going on. And we don't own that. You know, Google, Facebook, all these giants own that. That's where they make their money. And we're trying to take that away and give it back to us. So we can basically create our own avatar. And as we have our own avatar, we can control how much information we give out about ourselves. And when we do decide to give that out, that we'll be able to capitalize ourselves on that advertising, that information that so many people out there are making money on. And when you think about how much that adds up to on a regular basis, daily basis, annual basis, and if you were to retain that income as an individual, that can be a significant amount of money for people. It could really change economics globally. And we intend to do just that.
Thank you so much, Karl. And Phil, I would like to address one question to you as well. So as a top real estate developer, how do you see the tokenization going to change the future of real estate?
Well, you know, that's a pretty tough question. Real estate as it is or has been is no longer like this. In fact, now new developments, you have to create a way to
Phil, we don't hear you. Phil. Okay. Phil, we don't hear you.
Okay, so in the meanwhile, I will address a question to Henry. Henry, what's innovation do you see for the current financial industry for fintech and tokenization?
In more than 10 years, 11 years for the blockchain technology since Satoshi Nakamoto started Bitcoin. However, right now the applications are mostly in Bitcoin itself. In other kind of areas, we talk about like financial markets, insurance, like ICO, IEO, and STO, but it's very slow because it's very difficult to satisfy all the regulations by the government. So I view that in the future, the using tokens to do trading is probably the most profitable area in blockchain applications. You look like Binance, look at Huobi or OK, they're doing very well. So we are working on the new derivatives exchange called Torus Exchange. The basic idea is that we can combine the traditional finance with the blockchain finance. For example, we can recently the oil price has plummeted big. The futures price of oil once went to negative $40, and the Bank of China lost about 17 billion, 30 billion RMB. It's like $4 billion just one night. So we view that using the tokens to do derivative trading is an interesting area, and the Torus Exchange is working on that. So we have created like this bull and bear contracts. For example, you have Bitcoins. Now you can have like oil traded using Bitcoins. Instead of the price of the oil, the oil will be traded in Bitcoins. So let's say the oil price is $40, then we can have like a Bitcoin oil. It will be like 40 Bitcoins. if the oil price is $20, then the Bitcoin oil will be like $20. And you can have large leverage and have insurance paid by the exchange to make sure the maximum loss of the investor is at most 50%. So let's say I have like 20 Bitcoins and I'm going to buy the oil at 20. So I'm going to pay 20 Bitcoins. But if the oil price drops to below 10, then I'm sure I will get my 10 Bitcoins back. So at least I get half of that. But if the oil goes to, let's say, $40, and then my 20 Bitcoins will become 40 Bitcoins. So this way, this has very big leverage. You can actually borrow money to finance your investment. For example, you have like, I have only one Bitcoin, but I want to buy the Bitcoin oil, and now which is 20 Bitcoins right now. So I can borrow 19 Bitcoins from the exchange and come up with 20. So this is like a 19 leverage. And I can buy one this Bitcoin oil. And then if Bitcoin drops, if the oil price drops, and then it's, at most I lose half of my investment. But if the oil goes up, and let's say it goes up from 20 to like $30, then I will make, my 20 coins will be 30 coins, Bitcoins. And basically I have a kind of increase my, return to 1,000% in just one day. So I think this like derivatives trading is very risky. By using this like tokenization method, it can have access to a huge market. We know the derivatives market is much bigger than the spot market. Right now, it's about $100 trillion nominal volume. This is like 50 times more than the spot market. So this new contract called bull and bear contract, a key feature is insurance. So no matter where the oil price goes, you will get 50% of your money back. What happened in China was that people invested like $100 million in this contract, and then they lost all their money. And then Bank of China says, well, you still owe me $200 million because you invested in $20, but now it's negative $40. Not only you lose all your money, you are actually, still owe the bank, $200 million. If you don't do that, they're going to, block you from any kind of transportation, and you will be like have no freedom to leave and stuff. So that's very tough. But with this new investment tool that with the insurance feature in it, the most you lose is like 50%, and the maximum you get is 1,000%. So I think this is the exchange, I think, will attract people's attention and give people insurance. Yes. So basically, I think the next step is like tokenization of this like traditional investment tools with the blockchain like tokens. And this way, I think we're not just trading like Bitcoin itself. We can link Bitcoins with gold, with oil, with like stock indexes. So this way, the trading on this like new tokens will have a meaning for the real economy. Okay, so that's kind of the project we are working on.
Thank you so much, Henry. And my next question is to Karl. So given your high expertise in marketing, what's your opinion on how new internet is going to change the environment of e-commerce?
Well, I think, especially with what's recently been happening, I think e-commerce is going to go through the roof. I think the brick and mortar is going to be reduced dramatically, probably by 50%. I think people are going to be working from home much more. I think the economy that we had, 12 weeks ago is over. I think the world that we had 12 weeks ago is over. I think we're looking at years before we will recover. People think that, it's kind of like a peak, and that we hit a peak with this coronavirus. And then as soon as things get back to normal, we come back down to the other side of the peak, and then it'll be normal. It's more like a tidal wave. You know, it's a 100-foot tidal wave, and on the other side, it's still 100 feet. And so normal is never going to be what it was. So I think I think what this has done, what the coronavirus has done, has accelerated everything from a standpoint of the internet. I think people working from home has been accelerated by probably 5 years. I also believe that people paying attention to what's happening with tokenization and with everything to do with blockchain has been accelerated in reality. I think that digital currency will come to the fore and will become more important now, faster than ever before. I think we're looking at just recently, you know, in the United States, they put it into legislation that cryptocurrency is going to be part of our future here. I think that more and more it is going to become part of our everyday life. And so I think it's just going to be, I think everything that's happening now is accelerating it, but we have to also think differently. If we're going to market in this new world, we have to think different. We have to think more like people are thinking, not about me, but about them. I think we have to change the way we think. Even I'm looking at national advertising agencies here in the United States are having to pull their ads because they're not advertising correct. I think everybody's mindset has changed. And I think we have to change with that. We have to be very aware of that. And I think people that are aware of that and are not thinking normal are going to be really successful. And I think the reality about the economy in the globe today, there's going to be a major wealth transition. I think people that were multi-billionaires are not going to be multi-billionaires right now because their wealth has vanished. And I think digital currency is going to be the wave of the future. And I think over the next 9 months to 12 to 18 months is a window of time for us to really take advantage of.
Thank you very much, Karl. And to go ahead with that line of conversation, so I would like to ask a question to Henry. So as someone who is very influential in the financial industry, what's your advice? Do you have, for instance, what's your advice for asset managers to embrace this tokenization and blockchain into future assets and wealth management?
Now we are facing this pandemic, this coronavirus. So you see that all the interest is coming down to almost zero. The United States have implemented a zero interest rate policy recently, while Europe has gone through this a while ago. So this means that the central bank is going to print lots of money to stimulate the economy. And why we have Bitcoin is because in 2008, when we had a financial crisis, the United States, the Federal Reserve decided to do quantitative easing and basically print lots of money, and therefore the money will lose value. So with Bitcoins, it has a limited supply, and every day some people forget their private keys, and then the supply will reduce. And I think this time that the financial, the asset managers, they should think about investing some of the money in Bitcoins. And we know that in the past, when we have this kind of zero interest policy, when the currency depreciates, people tend to go to gold. But the gold is huge, the storage cost, and it's not easy to trade, it's not easy to transport. So I think Bitcoin has a much bigger advantage because it's anonymous, and the moving the money around is like instantaneous. So I think and they may think about replace some of the gold investment using Bitcoins. That's part of it. And two is basically to invest in companies that is at the forefront of the blockchain technology, especially in the kind of trading arena. For example, they can invest some of the money in the new exchanges like BitMEX or like Binance So I think this in the future, the way people will change their money will change. I know Bank of China is going to start this new digital currency of RMB, and it's not sure if they are going to use the blockchain technology. But if they're going to use it, it's going to have lots of effects on the stable coins because the Bank of China is much bigger than the Tether company that's supporting USDT. So I think the asset managers they should think about how to kind of accommodate these stable coins, especially the digital currency of RMB. I think this will help the blockchain technology to move faster. So I'm thinking about basically also in the investment banks can also try to implement like stock token offerings. We know that in the United States, they are allowing certain kind of companies to raise money using STOs. Because of the pandemic, it's very hard for small companies to raise money these days. I think use like the stock token offerings may be the way to go because it can go to the global market instantaneously. So these are the areas I think the financial industry should look into.
Thank you so much, Henry. And I'll give a word to Phil as well. So Phil, as a top real estate developer, how do you see the tokenization going to change the future real estate?
Well, you know my background in real estate. You've done a lot of celebrities' homes for many.
The background is black. The background is black. Can you probably change the side so that the light will? Yeah. Much better.
Okay.
Yeah, it's much better. Yeah, thank you a lot.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I did a lot of real estate development, even custom homes for celebrities in my past, and I've done development. In fact, Sedona, Arizona, we did a hotel spa resort, which is very famous, called Enchantment, if you ever heard of it. So we have, in the meantime, come up with a solution that we could do real estate development, but it has to be different than it was before. We have to add a lot of different features. We have to use new building technologies to be able to bring the costs down. And we have to bring people that are very experienced in the building, especially on a future city that we want to do, the Olympia future city of light, which is going to be built probably close to Las Vegas. We're considering several properties right now, and we want to tokenize that. In fact, we're using the Mobi AI platform to be able to do our Olympia coin, and the Olympia coin will service the future city because the most important thing about this future city is we're going to have culture, art, and entertainment system whereby we give Olympia awards to the best of the best around the world. So in addition to that, we will have the Family Film Awards, which is a part of the World Film Institute. We will have the functions there. So it'll be entertainment combined with real estate, combined with giving awards for the best of the best, excuse me, in culture, art, and entertainment. So one of the things that we want to do is also add a healing center that will provide anti-aging and different modalities of healing from all over the world, so that we can heal people, we can entertain people, and we will have a lot of things like international marketplace where we have different foods from around the world, and culinary arts will be one of the awards that we'll be giving as well. And Olympia Cellini, who has founded the World Film Institute and also the Family Film Awards, his function is to give out the awards and to create the entire system for the entertainment industry. So it'll actually be an entertainment mecca with many different facets to it in the Las Vegas area. But the tokenization, I think, will be very, very important for the future, so that we can have the city, we have our own coin, and people from international markets can then also purchase this coin and pay for the different services, the healing services, the entertainment industry. And we will have, I think, a very, very unique system that no one has right now.
Thank you. And to highlight the impact on the city society. So you mentioned already that the city, future city coin will change the lives of the population there and the community. Could you highlight this community role and impact of your future city coin?
Well, the future city coin will be used in many different areas, because we want to make this an international project. You have many countries that will be involved in the Olympia Awards and also the Family Film Awards, so that we have a unique way of being able to monetize rather than using just fiat money.
Thank you. And we'll pass with the floor to Yuting Ren, the regional director in New York for Latoken, to continue with the next round of questions to all. Thank you.
Oh, hi, everyone. So it's very happy to see all the experts from different industry come to the panel to discuss the new era of the tokenization. Here's the questions that are, because I know everybody is a top expert in your own industry. So what get everyone into this new tokenization and the blockchain industry for to get started originally?
Are you talking to me right now, Yuting?
Yeah, that's a general question for everyone, so you can get started.
Oh, okay. Well, I just feel that with the pandemic that's going on right now and the restriction in travel, you know, I had appointments in Singapore, Europe, and Luxembourg, and we can't move right now. So I think that using the internet and the tokenization, it'll be so much easier in the future to do business, because I think the future is here now, and it came very quickly, beyond what we all expected, and everything is changing. Okay, from the development standpoint of a future city, because even I wanted to also mention a future city. You know, we have to plan the infrastructure properly so that we can function with.
Right.
We don't want to have traffic on top of the roads inside the city when we have trucks coming underneath the infrastructure, which we have to have tunnels all underneath the city to take care of all the dirty work. And on top, it'll be a beautiful future city with electric cars, also with hydrogen cars, with self-powering monorails, and all of those kind of things. We're in the process of designing all of this right now, and it's more exciting than I ever realized in the future, because there's so many new technology that are coming in line. It's just mind-boggling.
That is really amazing. Thank you very much. So, Henry, would you share more about how you get into industry from the top financial experts getting into blockchain and tokenization?
Actually, you know, a few years ago, I wrote a paper on like cross products. I think that this blockchain technology can help me realize my kind of theory using this technology. So the basic idea was that in my paper was that, you know, we have like two assets. We just trade, you know, oil, we can trade gold. Can we trade like, you know, the product of oil and the gold? And this is the product, like we'll call this like gold oil. Or like now with Bitcoin, we can call this a Bitcoin oil or Bitcoin gold. So with this new technology, you know, let's say a company wants to raise money, but people like who are interested in this blockchain, they still want to have returns in Bitcoins. Then we can this company's token, let's call it like just like X, right? We're going to have it. We can have a Bitcoin X that the value of the Bitcoin X is the value of Bitcoin by denominated in X. So for example, if the Bitcoin is $10,000 and you get a 10,000 X, which is the company token. If Bitcoin is $8,000, the kind of new coin will be 8,000 X. So this is an exchange I'm working on. We can help people raise money in the token industry, but they can still invest in Bitcoins or Ether by using this kind of new type of tokens. This way, it's like they can also have like leverage. So essentially, you can have like 200 the company tokens. You borrow the 9,800 from the exchange, and you can invest in Bitcoin returns. If Bitcoin goes up, you get more the company tokens. So I got into this because I think this is a way to generate more innovative products and have people have kind of regular people that don't have to invest a lot. They can just invest, a few $100s, and they can still get a return from like Bitcoin appreciation. Because one Bitcoin is now like $10,000. People may not have this kind of money to invest, but with this like a new like insurance product, you can still have high leverage, and then people can give it a try. So this is how I got into this, because my kind of research is related to this kind of insured leveraged product.
Thank you. This is really, really amazing, especially when you think about the big market, about how to help everybody on their trading and hedging risk. So I think it's very revolutionized, and thank you for doing that. The world needs those kind of people to change something. Thank you. So how about Karl? So what get you into this industry? Because we know you for like long time, and we know you did everything in a great way. You are top expert on every field you tap into. So what finally brought you into this field, this blockchain and tokenization? What brought you into this?
Well, as you know, I've been an entrepreneur since I was a young boy.
Right.
So I'm always looking. And when I was actually the CEO of another company when somebody approached me with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin at the time was $30, not even $30. And it sounded so fascinating to me. I was just like, what in the world are you talking about? And it just seemed like just out of this world. And I remember talking to other friends about it at the time, and they thought I was crazy. They thought it sounded like just an incredible thing. And that when somebody else tells me it's crazy, then that gets me even more interested, right? And it reminded me, after looking at it, it reminded me of when the internet first started. Now, a lot of you are so used to emails and all of that stuff and the internet that it seems, second nature. But when it first happened, I remember when somebody talked about it to me the first time, and when people were talking about email, you didn't understand what it was. It didn't make any sense. When somebody said, "Hey, you need to have a website," I'm gonna say, "What is a website?" Well, it's this place in cyberspace. Okay, where is that? Well, it's in nowhere, and I need to get people there. I need to send people to this place. I need to get traffic to a place that doesn't exist. It didn't make sense, right? And so when the internet first started, I remember going to a seminar to find out what are they talking about? What is an email? What is this stuff? And I ended up being the CEO of a .com company, and it just blew up, and things were exciting. It was crazy, and I knew that this felt just like that. And I said, you know what? This is going to be big. This blockchain, this Bitcoin stuff is going to be big, and sure enough, it is, and it's actually going to be bigger than the internet. And I think blockchain overall will change the world as much or more than the internet. And I think that just like the internet, when the they call it the dot-com bubble when it burst. All that was really was, there was a time when you did .com anything and you were a millionaire. Similar to, people just started doing, any kind of a coin at all and they made money, right? Didn't have to have anything behind it, didn't have to be real. Well, the same thing happened back in the .com days. There was a time when the burst was when people realized, hey, you really have to have something. It really has to be real. There has to be some substance behind it. And when all of that stuff went away, there were some giants that were left over that we still have today, right? Like Amazon and all these big companies. So the same thing I believe is going to happen now. So there's 3,500 coin out there, or 4,000, probably more. There's guys right now in their garage thinking about coming up with a coin, right? So, but of all those coin, most of them, 95% of them, will go away because they're not real. There's nothing behind it. It's just nonsense. But there's going to be some that are going to be absolute giants that will change the world. And we just want to be part of that. And that's what I'm here for. We got involved early. We spent some time, spent a lot of money. We gathered the best people in the world that we could find, the new blockchain that understood how to change the world, already have done it. And we put them together and said, okay, let's do something that's going to make a mark in the world that we can look back on and say, wow, we did that. And so
Wow.
that's what we're doing.
Wow, this is really amazing. As far as we know, you have the top expert in the field and you have all the top experts in the industry. Well, we believe this could be huge success. So that's why we're here to help each other to get a better position. So I will pass another question about, so why do you think it is necessary for traditional industrial to change right now?
Well, as with everything else, things change, right?
Yes.
And we've had probably with pandemic, one of the biggest things that's ever changed. And really, this event is one of the top 12 things that's ever happened in human history. I mean, if you think about it, you've had the whole world in quarantine all at once. You've had the whole world economically shut down all at once. It's never happened before in human history. So this is new territory for all of us. And it's changing everything. So we're trying to kind of figure out what's going to happen. It's been devastating financially to most companies. Probably 50% of all companies are probably not going to survive it on the short term. And I think that what we're doing, turn this thing off here. I think that what we're doing is giving the ability for people to participate in something that they can do from home. Home businesses and working from home is going to be the biggest thing I think that's going to come out of what's happening right now. We're hearing about companies that have 300,000-400,000 employees that are saying, hey, you can all work at home. 100,000 employees, you can all work at home. Don't come to the office anymore. Think about what that's going to do. Real estate's going to change. Companies that usually have people coming into lunch, and parking their cars, all this stuff is going to change. I mean, there's just so many things that are going to change over the next year that may have changed over the next 10 years are now going to happen in the next 12 months. So everything's happening. So we've got to be thinking faster. We got to be
correct.
About where the next step is, because it's not the survival of the strongest, it's the survival of the most adaptable. If you're not adaptable, you're not going to make it. And if you look back, because history repeats itself. If you look back, World War II, World War I, the big depression, all of these things, the ones who made it were the ones who adapted themselves, and those people were the ones who poured it on. The ones who took advantage of that time were the ones who got market share. Not the ones who leaned back and said, I don't know, I'm going to sit back and watch. Those people lost. The ones who jumped in and said, hey, I'm going to change, I'm going to do something, I'm going to jump into the market. They captured the market share and they've never lost it. And right now, for example, advertising wise, advertising costs are the lowest they've ever been. They have, Google ads are the lowest it's ever been. Facebook ads are the lowest it's ever been as far as cost. And yet there's more people on Google, more people clicking, more people on Facebook, more eyeballs looking at advertising than ever before, more people at home. Best time to advertise, but people are not doing it. Crazy, right? So when people are going this way, you need to go the other way. You need to think opposite of everybody else if you're going to be succeeding. And so I look at what's happening today, and I'm seeing so many missed opportunities by people who are afraid to move. Now's the time to move. Not to be shy, but be excited, because this is an opportunity. This is the best opportunity probably in our lifetime to move, to take advantage, and to take advantage of the marketplace. But you have to be thinking fast and thinking forward.
That is very correct. As we all know, you have always been a leading expert on not a field. So we have to sometimes trust the leaders to follow. A lot of people are just sitting on their seats, do not change anything, but this is the time to really listen. Thank you for sharing your advice. So my last question, I would love to ask Henry, and because you have all this tokenization for all the different products and for the revolution, how do you think about tokenization would benefit everyone, and what's your idea behind it?
With this like a pandemic, I think that the future will look very different. The President Donald Trump has said that he wants to cut all relationships with China, and it's like the current trade war between China and the U.S. Is probably going to be worse than we expected. So I think there will be a huge home bias. I think Karl talked about like at home. I know actually I wrote some papers about home bias in finance, that in the global finance, people tend to buy their stocks that's close to their home. That's US will buy most US stocks, Chinese will buy most Chinese stocks, and this will become severe. That's like home bias. People just kind of want to stay home, not just like in literally like we're quarantined, but also in the global financial markets. I think this will create lots of problems. This means that the globalization will be reversed, and it will be very hard for small companies to have access to capitals. So I think this tokenization can help the small and medium companies to raise money, and because the blockchain technology is global, it has no borders, no language barriers. I think this will really help the small companies and for them to be able to have access to the capital markets. China is going to have a new special zone at Hainan province. Recently, they had put in some kind of proposals, like in Hainan. They're going to allow a more open policy regarding blockchain. So you can have exchanges, you can have like a tokenization for small and medium companies. I think this is the right step, because with this pandemic, I think it's not going to end. Even in the summer, I think look at Russia, it's still increasing very fast. And until we have a vaccine, it's probably be around for 1 or 2 years. So I think we have to rely on new technology to enable capital flows globally. Otherwise, if everybody only invests in home, we have just the strong home bias. This is not good for the economy, not good for unemployment. If you look at the US unemployment rate, it's the highest for almost the last 80 years after World War I. It's it's really, really bad. So I think with this new technology, hopefully we can reduce some of these problems. Still have people have access to capitals when they need it in the global financial market. So I think tokenization is a way to help small and medium companies. So that's, I think, we actually had a research center in Hainan. We're looking to bring this new technology to companies that really need capital.
That is great. Thank you for sharing that. It's speaking the greater benefit for the society, on if everybody could allocate the assets better, that could be general benefit everyone. That is really a great idea about how tokenization is going to change and benefit everyone. And also, I want to pass this question to Karl. That how soon do you think the change will be? Because a lot of people, as you just say, that a lot of people just did not realize the change until they've been kicked out from the industry or the thing. So still a lot of people just feel that they are okay with everything right now. Obviously, right now the COVID-19 has changed everything, a lot of things as well. So how do you think how soon do you think the change will be, with the current situation and the current industrial change?
Well, I think it's ongoing. I think that what most people don't realize is what you're experiencing today is a result of what happened 90 days ago. So, the reality is what's happening today, the real effect of it, we're going to feel in 60, 90, 120 days. So all of this that we're experiencing, the shutdown, I mean, the real effect of it for the average person is not going to really hit them for several months yet. And so I think it's going to be quite devastating because it's most of the countries have been living on interest, on borrowed money, right? Everybody's been doing it on borrowed money. It's almost like a Ponzi. So and Ponzi's require new money to come in, right? You have to have new money coming in, but they shut the economy down, right? There's no new money coming in. So the effect of all of that will really trickle down over the next several months, and that'll be interesting to see. But I think people need to be prepared now. And unfortunately, for most people, they're not prepared, especially in the United States. They don't have savings. People don't have savings here. Other countries are better at having savings and having money in the bank. So I think there'll be a little bit more problems here in the United States. And I think they'll have to come out with more stimulus plans and so on from that standpoint. But as far as from what we're talking about today, I think that business people, this could be a bastion of income and a safe haven for people, because I think that the blockchain area is where people can invest and not make little bits of money, but they can really make fortunes. I think this is going to be like a modern day gold mine. And if you look back in the past, people used to come to the West in the United States, they go the gold rush, right? They used to come out here to try and get gold. Well, this is going to be the modern day gold rush. I mean, they'll be able to come here because I think it's going to be accelerated dramatically over the next, 9 months, 12 months. I think that's where it's going to be. I think we're going to see, Bitcoin go up to probably, double what it is this month. And I think we're going to continue to see it go up because I think we're going to see instability in fiat currencies around the world. Because we've got major currencies, right? You got major countries that have their major currencies, which everybody has a certain amount of confidence in. But then you've got all these, hundreds of other countries that have very unstable currencies. And where are they going to put their money in? Gold is a great, safety mechanism for people that are in their 50s and 60s. They think of gold, but millennials don't think of gold. They don't understand gold. They don't know where to buy gold. They don't know where to sell gold. But they understand Bitcoin, right? They understand blockchain. So I think that's where they're going to go for their safe haven. And I think that when you're in these other markets, these other countries, those people, it's not easy to buy gold. In many countries, it's illegal to buy gold. So, or some of these precious metals. So, and it's not easy, as mentioned before by Henry, it's not easy to move it. It's hard it's not an easy, convenient thing. So, I think people are going to be moving more and more and more to cryptocurrencies. And that's where having a stable coin and having a real safe, solid backing with a real deal is going to be really a safe place to be.
Yes, I think it's a very good point. And also, I think as Karl mentioned, that many U.S. households, they live like check by check, like they only got money monthly, they don't have any savings. So I think the government should really stimulate the economy by like paying for the rents for like small and medium companies, and also gives people some subsidies they need. And I think the regulators should look into the regulating policy, maybe to allow more low-cost STOs so that small and medium companies can survive. The Chinese government has been looking into these proposals, and I think the US regulatory bodies should be maybe, for example, like on the exchange, like Coinbase, like Kraken, and Gemini. Kraken, they cannot even trade in New York. Coinbase also moved out of New York City. So I think they maybe should be able to relax some of these regulations so that these STOs, these company tokens, can be traded on these exchanges. Of course, we need regulation to avoid money laundering, to have a KYC in place. But I think right now the economy is really suffering. I just hope that we have the new policies coming out that's more accommodating for the blockchain technology, because this Bitcoins is anti-inflationary, and this can put some constraint on the central banks to print lots of money, because if you print too much, then people are moving to Bitcoins. So because of that constraint, this kind of reduced the kind of incentive just to like print the money. I mean, I don't think print money is going to solve everything, because like if we just like give everyone $1 million, like, are we going to be all richer? It's not that simple, because there's a limit on how much you can do. So I think Bitcoins, there is a way to put some kind of constraint on like how crazy a government can be, and the government should be able to allow this kind of commitment. And as I feel that Bitcoin is a commitment for the government to not to print too much money. And I just hope that in the future the governments can be looking into this more carefully, and to be just not to just simply kill this technology.
That is great. Thank you for sharing all this, top age consideration and all this the leading, knowledge. Thank you very much.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention is that Bitcoin has recently we had a halving of Bitcoins, and Bitcoins have increased from like around 6,000 to over 10,000 very briefly, but now it's still at 9,000 kind of range. So I think the price of Bitcoins I think it should be easily to go above 10,000 by summer, because I think when the summer comes, we'll see that the government is probably going to rush to have lots of stimulus plans, and more money will be coming out. So I think to be able to kind of avoid this kind of inflation pressure, I think Bitcoins is a way to go. It should put some like percentage of your liquid assets into Bitcoins, maybe like 10%. I think is a worthwhile consideration.
That's correct, because of the halving of the Bitcoin, that everybody is pay attention on that a lot. And thank you for sharing. That is something we definitely worth everybody to check out. And thank you for everyone for the panel. So I will pass this to Ladia.
Thank you, everybody. So that was an in-depth discussion for today. So tokenization and all the other questions we covered quite profoundly. So, and I thank everybody, and I invite all our viewers to join our events, speech competitions, roadshows, startup leaders clubs, and panel discussions like the one which we had today. And I also invite you to join in just half an hour our online roadshow, Investments and Pivots During Pandemic on Biotech and MedTech. Thank you, everybody. Stay healthy, and please just enjoy yourself and develop your businesses not only survive but succeed as well. So we discussed a number of very profound trends today to join both if you are an investor or if you are a serial entrepreneur. Thank you so much, and have a nice day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for sharing. It was a great conversation. Thank you. Have a good day.
If anybody are interested in the Torus Exchange, look me up. I think we are interested in like getting more people involved. Thank you.
Okay. We will talk more about that. Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Enjoy. Thank you. Bye-bye.